All right, let's move straight to our next conversation. The Niger State House of Assembly is worried over escalating bandit attacks in a Rafi local government area of the state. In a recent session, the lawmakers highlighted that in a month, 122 persons have been abducted and 2 others killed in the area. They called for immediate and decisive actions such as collaboration with the Kaduna State government and increased security presence along major routes to address the deteriorating security situation. Mikhail, the move by the Niger State House of Assembly to work with the executive of the state and other forms and to end and its neighboring states, is this move enough to stem the tide against banditry in the state?
I think when you, because what my big takeaway from their statement was the resolve to work with the Kaduna State government.
Yes.
Kaduna shares boundary with Niger State in the Briningwari area, and today Kaduna went into a deal with bandits, their representatives, and they've stopped banditry across most of the frontline local governments. So if banditry has ceased in Briningwari, which is the boundary with Niger State, in this Rafi local government, then Niger State has to look inward and see how it can solve that problem as well, because where contiguous states do not agree to work together, especially where you have agreed to use kinetic efforts to solve such a big problem, you will find that so-called repentant bandits will leave the state where they've received amnesty, where they've agreed that they will no longer be terrorizing people, and go to those states because they are contiguous. They move around easily, and these guys use bikes. You know, the Honda bike cost in excess of 2 million naira. That's what, in fact, in Briningwari, when I went there to do a story last month, what people were telling me was, look, once you see this bike, the person riding it is a bandit.
Really?
Yes, and I saw some of the bandits were running away when they saw us because they weren't sure that with the presence kind of military cover that was given, that they were not coming to kill them. So in spite of the fact that peace was reigning, many of them were taken to their heels. Many of them, once they sighted us, they were turning back into their forests. So the forest of Briningwari links Kaduna, Zamfara, even Katsina. Those, they are able to move through those forests. So those bandits have found a way to operate without let, and the rural communities are really at their mercy. You can imagine, a lot of these cases don't get reported. So if they are saying 122 people were kidnapped, and that's one local government. This Rafi local government is at the border with Kaduna State, and that was where students were kidnapped the other day. That was where Quranic pupils were kidnapped and taken all the way to Zamfara State. That's what usually happens. Zamfara is the headquarters of banditry. When people are kidnapped in Katsina, as it happened a couple of years back when students of science secondary school were kidnapped, they took them all the way to Safe local government in Zamfara. When the Kuriga students, the Kaduna students, those kids from Kaduna were kidnapped, it was also in Zamfara that they took them to. The ones who were kidnapped in Kogi, what was it called? The Kustek, Confluence University.
Okay.
They were taking them to Zamfara before they were surrounded.
Exactly, before police.
And they couldn't proceed. They killed some of the students, and invariably they were released because the NSA had to use another bandit to track them. You know, so I believe that Niger State has to sit with the NSA, sit with the Kaduna State governor. What has worked in Kaduna should be able to work in Niger as well. If they don't solve that problem, then it's like we are wasting time. And from history, when Katsina State gave amnesty to bandits, some of them went to Zamfara and continued to operate there because there was no, the amnesty was not implemented in Zamfara and even Kaduna. So this is the problem. They've got to find a way, especially in that local government. Of course, that's not the local government where banditry is common. Shiroro, in Niger State, banditry is common. Rijau, that she has border with the Zuru area of Kebbi State. Rijau local government. This is also rampant in that place. Even some parts now of what's this local government? Where former Minister of Works comes from. Kontagora. Even some parts of Kontagora too. There are at least 8 local governments in Niger State where bandits are running rampant. Yes. And there is a need to do something about it.
Okay, there's a need to do something. Just recently, the president gave marching orders to the military that end banditry and other forms of criminality. Are you convinced that the military at this time, they have what it takes to wipe them out completely?
The military has more than what it takes.
Then why are we still having them?
Well, when a problem is entrenched, you know, it's not what you can just resolve in one day. When President Trump came, he said he was going to resolve the crisis between Ukraine and Russia. But you see what is going on now. It's not always, this thing started in 2009. And they have been able to gain strong oaths. They have made a lot of, you know, so it's not going to be easy. But I think, personally, from my own observation, I think we have made speedy progress in the past 2 years. If you look at the number of people being kidnapped, if you look at the onslaught on key terrorists, you know, people like Bello Toji and all of them, to the extent that many of their commanders have been eliminated. The speed at which we are really going, I think we are faster than, you know, the pace that we are moving before. And I think we need to commend the NSA for its proactiveness and using its background, you know, in intelligence to adopt to dealing with these fundamental problems. One thing we should know about Niger State is that it is of strategic importance to the terrorists for so many reasons, for 5 main reasons. The first one is that Niger State is hub of a lot of strategic national assets. We have the Shiroro Dam, we have the Kanji Dam, we have the New Zungeri Dam, you know, all in Niger State. And you know the impact they have on our power sector and all that. Then the other one is land. Niger State is the biggest in, you know, land mass all over the country. Niger State is about 6,000 square kilometers, you know, far more than the entire southeast put together, including Cross Rivers. That is the biggest, 22,000 plus, you know, square kilometers. So they need a huge area to operate. The other one is the, you know, enormous mineral resources in Niger State: gold, tin, iron ore. So the terrorists are targeting this area. Then the Niger River which flows through 9 countries, you know, beginning from the Guinea Island. Is a place that they feel they can use to import arms through small vessels, you know, all the way from. And it causes 9 countries, including Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, where terrorist organizations are entrenched. Then we also have the fact that Niger State is also a place that is, you know, is adjacent to so many like Abuja. It's very close to Abuja, close to Kaduna, you know, close to Kogi State. So it's more or less like the heart of Nigeria. So, and opening up as tributaries to the Niger Delta may also give them access to oil resources in those areas. So I believe this is one of the reasons why they are focusing on Niger State. And I hope that, I believe the government understands this challenge and the need for to double their efforts, you know, in tackling terrorists in Niger State. I believe the Nigerian army is more than capable, not just the army alone, a combination of the security agencies. And I believe we are making progress, but it's not something that you can just emulate, you know, within the shortest time. Terrorism is not an easy thing to eliminate in just one night.
Biko, do you agree with him? The Nigerian military have what it takes to wipe them out, or do you think they need outside help?
No, you don't need foreign boots on ground in our country to defeat banditry. In any case, it shouldn't even be the responsibility of the army to tackle banditry. That's the responsibility of the police. It is threat to the sovereignty of our country that the army should be called upon to address. But we have a situation in which over the years the police has not been properly equipped to handle this kind of threats, and that's why the army are now used to do the job of policing, policing our states, policing our government spaces and all that. And when you look at the army is stretched, that's why in some cases where you expect that these guys will have been dealt with severely, because even when we clean them up in some areas, we cannot put the army there permanently, so they come back and continue to constitute threats to our people. So I believe that the president is doing the right thing by setting aside good money in the current budget to the armed forces, you know, so they will be able to, in my view, get the equipment that they need. If we look at the Air Force now, they've never been this equipped in the history of the Air Force. This is a glorious era for the Nigerian Air Force in terms of some of the area platforms that are coming in and those still being expected. The president has been very good to the army, to the Air Force, providing them game-changing weapons, and it's reflecting in the way we are dealing with the threats that Boko Haram terrorists constitute, especially in the northeast. As you can see now, a lot of them are running away from the northeast, coming down to take to bare-faced banditry, which was not what Boko Haram was known for.
Exactly.
But now kidnapping for ransom is now very rampant. At the beginning, Boko Haram was not involved in that, but they need money now to keep their operations going, their campaign of terror going, and so they are now kidnapping people for ransom so that they can find the money that they need to continue their brand of terrorism. The kidnapping of train travelers the other day was carried out by Boko Haram. I knew from the way the whole thing was executed that it was not ordinary bandits that did it, and in the fullness of time we got all the information that they were actually Boko Haram terrorists, and they were asking their victims to bring dollars and all that. You know, so we need to double our efforts to defeat banditry for the sake of the farming, the farming population, the rural communities. This is where food is produced in our country, but they are the ones at the receiving end. These guys hardly go to urban centers. It's very rare. But the rural communities where food is produced in abundance in our country, they are the receiving end of banditry. That's why if we really want to achieve food security, banditry has to be defeated. People must have access to their farms. Because the potential in agriculture is tremendous. From even the story I brought back from Briningwari, that is a place that had not been safe for so long. But within a short time, look at what these farmers have produced. One farmer reaping 20,000 bags of rice.
Oh, okay, your reports in
yes,
exactly.
20,000, but it's not. They are the ones who are sending people to Mecca, going to Mecca.
Rice,
more than
millets,
80% of the people going to Mecca from Kaduna, they are farmers. They are the ones who can do it. He was telling me, he but I'm not alone, we are many. There are so many of them like that. Go to Jere, the Saminaka area of Kaduna, they grow maize in tremendous quantity. We have the potential. If security improves, you will see that it will reflect in food supply.
Yeah, exactly.
Because these good for nothing people, they break the supply chain by the kind of criminal activities that they break the food supply chain, and we must respond appropriately.
Exactly.
My own feeling is just the same way the Emir of Zaria, Emir of Zauzau, suggested, we must do kinetic and non-kinetic simultaneously. The ones who do not want to agree to lay down their arms, let the military serve them justice. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
I will not say, no, don't do this one, don't do this one.
Both should go pari passu. All right, then.